Hey guys, today we are talking about body crosses, how to land them, how to avoid getting countered, and how to open up that torso and get people to raise their elbows up really high, plus a couple tricks that I really like to implement to make sure I can land this technique super frequently. Body crosses, that is what we're talking about today. Cross off the body. This is a technique that I've had a lot of success with, especially in sparring in the gym, but even in my fights, I'm able to land this quite frequently, and there's a number of reasons why. Now, the first thing is confidence. When you are confident in a technique, you're able to throw it. But to be able to gain confidence, we really have to breach that barrier where we don't throw a technique because we're too nervous, to the point where we just start cracking through and we start throwing it every training session. Not necessarily being successful at first, but eventually that will come. But with the tips and pointers I'm going to provide today, I think with a little bit of practice, you guys will get this fantastic technique down very quickly. Now let's first talk about the defensive aspect of a body cross, because when I come off my backhand and I drop, it's very difficult for me to protect my head on both sides. Whereas if I throw a cross up to head level, I can utilize this shoulder to protect the right side of my head, while the left side of my head is protected by the opposite arm. So throwing down low exposes me to this side. But if you know that that side of your head is going to be open, you can take precautions. First and foremost for me, as soon as I come down to the body, I know right away if I see this hand come, I am going to fade my head back. I'm going to move away very quickly. So I don't stay here and hit and plant and leave my head in a position. I hit and pull. That's very simply just me shifting the weight between my legs. I land at 50-50, and then I just push more to about 70% of the weight over my rear leg, and then from there, if I need to, I can just adjust my stance as well. Once we know there's a clean exit strategy, we hit and we can pull back very quickly, or we can hit and we can roll if we want to stay on the inside. Once we know we're able to get out safely, it gives us more confidence to throw that technique, knowing that we're not necessarily going to get clipped and hurt every time we throw it. Now, speaking defensively, another concern that a lot of people have with the body cross, or what I notice when people try to cross to my body, is they leave their head on the center line, and when they walk in to throw the body cross, I just throw a headshot and they end up eating it just because they didn't move their head off the center line. So let's talk about how you can get your head off the center line effectively and properly. Let's say I'm on Bob here, I'm in front of Bob, and I decide, okay, I'm in a good range for my body cross. I'm just gonna throw it. And my head is right in the center. Well, that's no good. So the alternative is, as I throw, I drop my head to the side. But for me, I feel a tiny bit off balance as I do that. So I like to implement my lead leg by just taking a tiny step out to the side. This allows my head to move, but my weight gets caught by this lead foot, and now I feel super strong and super balanced. My head just went from here to here, and I'm able to land that body cross. Plus it gives me some extra distance. I'm out of jab range, I'm out of cross range, but now I can land, and again, it gives me that ability to push out as an exit strategy, which we just talked about. And be very, very good with your fundamentals of hand positioning when you throw your body cross, making sure this hand is up. Because if I lean in for a body cross and this hand is lazy, and the guy happens to come with a high kick, I'm gonna eat it. So I have to have that hand right there, super tight, no room for error. Now, we've talked about the defensive aspects. Hopefully that helps you guys feel more confident. Now let's talk about the offensive aspects. What's the best way to create openings? Because if the guy is just standing like this, there's not a massive opening. We want to get him to raise his hands up. Now, the most simple and effective way, in my opinion, is to simply throw the jab. I do that as I do the step which we talked about, and then I can come with my body cross. That's just me deciding, is he open? Yes, he is. Is he open? No. Just feel out, I just go 1, 2, or 1, and back out. But that's a very simple thing. I want some more advanced strategies for the guys who are a little bit higher level. One of the other ones that we have seen Badr Hari land super effectively, finish the fight with it, is coming off the left hook. Now, because he's closer, He's closer because he's landing a hook instead of a jab. There's more likelihood that this guy is going to be panicked by the power of the left hook and raise his elbows a little higher. Whereas on the jab, you might not get the same reaction. So if you happen to step within range, throw the big hook, and then come down low, you have a good opportunity to really hurt somebody. And because you're closer, the power that you can generate right from here, if you really unwind your hips and drop your knees, is pretty substantial. Now, getting even more advanced for me, I like blinding my opponent's vision. That's what the punches are normally supposed to be doing. Yes, we're drawing their hands up, but if we're really fast on the read chamber, sometimes we throw and then they see us drop. So if we can do something like throw, turn your palm into your partner's face, you're pressuring their guard as you do this. It's not just hit and pull or hit and just leave it here. You hit, you give them a little push to make sure that they really want to keep those hands high. They're protecting their head because now they don't know if I'm coming up here or here because I'm blinding them, and then I come down to the body cross. I'm on the outside, I step in, one hook, right in their face, and then to the body. This one for me I found has been very effective, just stalling that lead arm out in the middle, and because this does not blind you as much as this, I just do that little twist and just open up the glove to make my hand that much bigger, make it that much harder for them to see by this hand in their face. Now I want to talk about something that I see different people doing with their back leg, because we have a couple options here. As we drop our weight, we can have our back leg straight, or we can have our leg bent. I want to talk about what happens with each of those, making sure that you guys are choosing what's right for you. Because as I've said before, I don't know if it's necessarily right or wrong. I think this is all personal preference. So when I keep my back leg straight, this is going to allow my head to stay higher, which to me feels like I'm a little bit more exposed for counter shots. But as this leg stays a little bit straighter, I'm able to push more force into this cross. Therefore, in my opinion, creating more power. If you want to create more power, you keep that leg a little straighter and you blast straight through your opponent's body. Now, the alternative is once I'm here, I drop down a little bit more. But you can see my weight is not necessarily going straight through. It's dropping, which is going to decrease my power. But at the same time, I've taken my head from way up here, where most guys throw their head shots, to way down here. So in doing that, basically if he wants to hit me to the head, if he wants to counter me to the head, he's going to have to throw down to body level. And because I'm keeping my back very straight when I do that, I'm not at risk of getting kneed in the face. Whereas if I go something like this, yes, I put myself in a very bad position. So on body shots, I like to keep everything very structured, very safe from head knees, head kicks, because everything is right over another portion of the body. First one, leg stays straight. I lean my weight forward. I really drive forward off the ball of the foot, but my head is more exposed. Second one, I'm touching away. I decide, oh, he might be counter-shotting me. I bend down, and I basically go in almost to a lunge with this knee to the ground, but not obviously to that extent. I'm just going from here about halfway down. In my experience, both of these are applicable. Both of them are fantastic options. If I'm a little bit wary of my opponent and I'm going, okay, I want to be a little bit more careful, I bend my knee more. If I feel like I can get away without the counter shot and just go to the fade back after, you'll see me keep this leg fairly straight and fairly strong and trying to drive a little more power into my shot. The body cross, guys, this is a punch that I've been successful with. I hope after this episode you are more successful with it in your training or your competition. If you guys enjoyed the episode, you appreciated it, please give the video a like. If you haven't already, join the channel and get subscribed. As always, guys, train hard, and I'll see you back here soon for another video.